1111. Hi, I'm Ray of Sunshine. Maybe 1111 has some significance for you. Maybe it doesn't. You might be aware, and if you're not aware, you're about to be because I'm about to fill you in. 1111 has some significance for this whole video production, starting way back at the beginning, but particularly right now in the C series. You may have seen series C1 or C2, and you may not have, and there's no rush. They'll be there when you're ready. But in those videos, I talk about elevating, which is we're all in the process of elevating right now. So I'm in the elevated area of my sanctuary, like I was in the previous two videos, and I showed you around over there. I showed you Aurora Borealis and Aldo, who's floating around up there, and where it's a space where my eagles fly and my butterflies are, and all my flying creatures, and just like this area here, elevated. I'm up in the night sky here. Usually, on a lot of the previous old world videos, I'm down here. I'm down here somewhere, right? And you'll see you can see that in all those previous videos. They're not going anywhere anyway. So when you're ready, you'll have a chance to check those out. And the reason you want to check them out is because there's something there to learn. The first thing will be for you to discover how you deal with discovering different, because there's a lot of different stuff going on. There's different stuff going on over here, although you'll notice it's a little bit of a different energy. There's some shadow stuff going on still. That happens. Shadow. There's a lot of shadow in all the previous presentations. And that continues even though we're in the C series. The C series represents the bridge that we're crossing, going from old world to new world, which is why the 1111 has a significance. C1 is an 11-minute video. C2 is an 11-minute video. There are other coincidences, and I explain them on C1 and C2. But 1111 to me represents the legs, or the support system of a bridge, the bridge that we're on, the bridge going from old world to new world. And there's a sign on the side of the road that says, "Welcome to the new world. Proceed with passion." When I think of old world versus new world, and if you want to know what I think, you can go back to the previous videos and follow right on through till you get to this point right here. You'll find out a lot about what I think about that. And it depicts the past, which is where we're all coming from, the present, which is right now, right here in the C series, and the future. I don't know too much about the future yet, because we're not there. I don't think any of us know too much about it. One thing I do know, though, is we're all creating it together. So we're in for some surprises, because it's all up to free will. But the 1111 has a great deal of significance in the C series right now, and that's why. So I started it off with an 1111 message. This video will not be 11 minutes. I don't know what it's going to be exactly. You already know. So you know some things that I don't know. I know some things that you don't know, but we all know some things. We know some similar things together. One thing we both know is that this video that I'm recording right now is not going to be 11 minutes, and there's a significance for that. There's a significance for the entire development of my whole video progression. And well, you won't know that until you actually go back and start at the beginning and look at it, which you will someday. There's no rush, There's no pressure to go back there. When you're ready, you'll get there. It's not like a punishment, you get over there and watch them videos. It's going to be, when you're ready, it's going to be a fun thing. I like fun. I talk about that on a lot of the videos, because you can't have too much fun. There's no such thing as too much happy. And I learned that. I started getting that message from my best friend Sid, And if you haven't met Sid, well, I talk about Sid. Actually, I repeat a lot of things, but one of the things I repeat a lot about on a lot of the previous videos is about Sid. And the reason for that is because there's a lot to learn from Sid. I learned a lot from him. You'll learn a lot about you. You'll learn a lot about him, and you'll learn a lot about me in the whole previous video progression. So anyway, I'm floating around up here in the upper echelon section of my sanctuary, and I'm thinking about I wrote some scripts for some of these videos, and I've used my first video, the pilot video, and don't worry about forgetting about seeing that one, because I talk about that in every one of my videos too, sending you back there. And at the end of this video there will be some boxes on the side of my head that you can click on. One of them is going to be my pilot video. Why me? Different. All of the different formats, all of the previous formats are different in very significant ways, and in other subtle ways. It's me. It's the same guy in all of those videos with a little bit of a different slant. So you'll notice this slant is different than some of those other slants. This slant here that we're in, crossing the bridge slant, has some smoothness to it, some a relaxed quality to it, more like feeling natural and just going with the flow. Some degree of coherence and even a modicum of intelligence. And you won't, some of those features don't exist in great quantities back in some of the earlier videos, and there's a reason for that. The reason is for you to look at the progression. The past is the past, and it's going to remain the past. However, we couldn't have the present without having gone through the past, just like I wouldn't have present videos without past videos. So that's the significance of that whole past video series. And the way that series works is, it's not going to just, one of those videos one of these days is not just going to pop up on your screen and press the play button. That's something that you have to do when you're ready. Just letting you know how that works. Although I did have, yesterday I'm walking around with my phone in my pocket, and all of a sudden a video started playing. First time that ever happens to me, and you'll never guess which video it was. My pilot video started playing out of the clear blue for some reason. So that tells me that there's some place that you need to be, because there's a message there for you. So whenever you're ready, click on the pilot video, go check it out. So this whole high energy, high vibration sort of environment that we're in, that makes me think about hot air balloons, because hot air balloons float. And hot air balloons, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even remember. For years and years and years, if you ask me how old I was, and I talk about that back on, in the 1 through 6 series, and I think it's the Party Time video. I stopped at 19. I don't keep track. So, if I go someplace like the doctor's office and they say, how old are you? I have to stop and figure it out. And it was the same. It's the same thing with hot air balloons. I've fantasized about it for so long. I don't really know if I've ever actually been up in a hot air balloon, because the feeling of imagining being in a hot air balloon and being in a hot air balloon are exactly the same. And I know how that feels. And I don't know if I've really ever done it or not. Anyway, the hot air balloon is a pretty good analogy for the energy that we're in right now, which is the shift going from old world to new world. And I've used other analogies too. In a lot of these previous videos, one of my favorite ones is about driving in the dark, because it depicts the energy that we've been in for decades or thousands of years, or whatever time frame you choose to look at it in. But driving in the dark, and now there's a speck of sunlight on the horizon. And same thing with the hot air balloon. This is like a 75-foot monstrosity which is laying on the ground. It's been laying flat on the ground now for 26,000 years, 50,000 years. 50,000 years I think I've explained this as well in maybe one of those A videos. 50,000 years ago was called the Great Leap Forward, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm calling this the Great Leap Forward. This bridge that we're on right now, this 1111 bridge, is part of the Great Leap Forward. So back then, I used the explanation about harnessing the power of fire, and we're doing the same thing right now, harnessing the power of fire. Welcome to the new world. Proceed with passion. The fire in our hearts, right? That kind of passion. So that's how I see the 1111. And you'll continue to see those kind of messages in this whole C series. The C series is kind of leveled out compared to some of the but there's some things that are still a little bit off kilter, and we're looking to discover. I'm looking to discover what the future holds, and the way that I'm doing that is by doing something different, to discover something different. So let me tell you what you might want to consider to do different by sending this video to some character that it would be out of your character to send it to. Why would you do that? Well, if you look at some of my previous videos, you're going to see. I'm going to talk about a lot of the things that I let go, because we're also in the energy of letting stuff go to make room for other stuff, and it's about the energy of discovering different, because different is happening, major different, and how that looks, I don't know, because we're creating it. But that's coming up in the future videos. You can get a little handle on the progression, the way I see it, the energy that we're coming from, where we are, and what we're going to, by stepping back into some of those previous videos. On Monday, my Monday's video, I had talked about my first tuna fishing trip ever. And it's just probably coincidental that my first tuna fishing trip in the 60 years almost that I've been doing deep sea fishing came on the same day as the C series of my video presentation was occurring, because there was some major occurrences on that day for me, some major discoveries. One thing, and this was nothing really new. There's restrictions on all kinds of fishing. The size you can catch, how many you can catch, and there's regulations on the tuna fish too. So we had the regulation of catching 3 within a certain size, which are considered the small tunas, and then you can catch 1 of the medium size, which is up to 6 feet. So somewhere between 4 and 6 feet, which would be one of those medium-sized tunas, would be a lot like me. That's what I am. I'm the size of a medium-sized tuna, and we caught 3 smaller ones, and then those are the ones we ended up keeping. But in the process, while searching for Papa dolphin, tuna, caught a whole lot more. But we stopped. We stopped with the first 3, not really knowing if we were going to catch bigger ones or not. We stopped out of fear that we may not catch any more. We caught dozens more, and we let them all go, and it was a lot of fun. So, the big question could have been, am I grateful for the 3 that we got, or am I resentful for all the ones we had to put back? Stay tuned. I'll fill you in on those details. So that was the highlights of my tuna fishing trip, and another element that kept me from tuna fishing for all these decades was the element of fear. And that's something that in this New World energy, I'm learning to let go of. I have lots of examples in all the previous video series about lots of stuff that I'm letting go of, and lots of stuff that I'm discovering. And I'm discovering different by doing something different every single day. So that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do, because different is on the horizon like we ain't never seen. So I will catch you on the next video, and meanwhile, it's playtime. Create you.